Yo, another parking lot reflection day, evening, whatever. Funny story. I actually recorded part 2. This should be part 3, but this part 2, because I kind of recorded part 2 on my other phone, and then I got a new phone, and then I forgot to transfer it to my computer. So basically, I lost it. This episode is gonna get dark, but it's real life stuffs, and I told myself that I'm not going to hide that. I feel like a lot of people in this society hide the real stuff through surface level connections and surface level talks and blah 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 blah. And look, I'm gonna tell you everything. I'm gonna tell you when I'm doing good, I'm gonna tell you when I'm doing terribly, in hopes that you listen to this and you realize that if you are going through a tough thing yourself, that you are definitely not alone, and we are all suffering together in some way, shape, or form. We're all suffering together. We're all experiencing life. We're humans. Odds are, if you're watching this, you're most likely human. At least I hope so. If you're an alien, please don't kill me. But if you're human, which you should be, you have your own struggles, surely. And hopefully it'll also not only make you feel like you're not alone, but it'll also encourage you to open up about your own struggles. Anyway, today, like the other parking lot reflection video, I am sitting outside of the gym. I hit abs today. Feeling pretty good about it. Before coming to the gym, I was feeling pretty depressed. And like I talked about in the last video, when it's cloudy days, when it's lack of sun days, it tends to affect me quite a bit. Because if you did not know, the sun actually does play a big role to how you feel. If you're depressed and you're not exposed to sun, that natural vitamin D stuffs, you're gonna feel more depressed. You're going to feel more depressed. So it's important to get some sunshine as well in your life, in your daily life. So if you're sitting and rotting in your room for months, you totally need to touch grass. And I'm telling you on some real stuff. You need to touch grass. And I mean that in the most loving way. In the most loving, most respectful, most gentle way I possibly could. You need to touch some grass. Sometimes we just need a little grass touching to, get back together, snap back into place, you know what I mean? But anyway, so last week that I recorded this, or that I recorded the part 2 of reflections, or when I recorded the part 2 of parking lot reflections, I had a terrible day. It was just get a notification. It was a whole, I was wondering if the phone would stop recording if I got notifications, but it turns out it doesn't stop recording, so that's great. Anyway, last weekend that I recorded part 2, I was having a terrible day. It was a very cloudy day like this one, and it was a lot more rainy. Today was kind of drippy, rainy. It was cold in the morning. I was like, like I was completely drenched at work first thing in the morning. Like the first hour I was drenched. So I was like freezing all morning because it was already like 50 degrees outside. Here, if you're not using the freedom units, this is what Celsius is in 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So at first you hear that and you're like, you know what? That's not even that cold. No, it's not. But when you're drenched, it's very cold. Anyway, I was drenched. Wait, how the frick did I get here? Oh my god. That has nothing to do with last week. Well, it's similar in the sense where it was a cloudy, rainy day. But anyway, today that happened. Not last weekend. Last weekend, it was also cloudy and not as rainy, but I was feeling a lot worse because at the time, I guess what was going through my mind is, actually, surprisingly, a part of it is what I talked about in part 1 of this parking lot reflection about the whole unreachable girl, the girl that'll never know that you exist, the longing for her, pressure in succeeding, and doing something with my life, pressure of waking up every single day, working 6 days a week. I know people work more, but it's not going to take away the pain of still 6 days. When I was younger, I used to work from Monday to Saturday, from 6 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So I'm sure you can imagine how restful those weekends were. It was god awful. It was god awful. I hated it. I really did. Not enough rest. I definitely rest a little more compared to before, but I think humanity as a collective needs to rest a lot more. What do you mean we're gonna get the weekends off? And even then, I don't get the weekends off entirely. But anyway, where the freak was I going with this? Right, so there's pressure of that, there's a girl thing, there's a longing for connection and the girl, blah, blah, blah. And then recently I found out that I may have to move out of my childhood home once again, which kind of affected me a little bit more than I thought it would, especially since I had left the childhood home before to live with my dad. And then 2 years ago, as you guys saw in that blue room that I was at for a while, depending on how long you were following. But I moved to my mom's, which is why I was in that blue room for a while, and then I got my own room finally after it got fixed up. But anyway, where was I going with this? I often ask myself that. Where was I going with this? Where was I going with this? I have so many thoughts, so many things going on at the same time in my head. And then I start here and then I end up all the way over here somehow, for some reason, but that's just how my brain works. Right, so leaving the childhood home again, that kind of affected me as well. I guess not feeling as connected with my family as I wish I did. My entire family, you know? Oh. She's kind of bad, respectfully. She's pretty. Just saw a pretty girl get in her car. Anyway, hopefully that doesn't sound or came off in a creepy way. It's just I was doing my thing and then I just see a baddie and I'm like, oh, baddie. So yeah, feeling disconnected with the family, disconnected with the entire world. Feeling like it's myself against the entire world. What else? What else can I tell you? That's all for the reasons, but that particular day that I speak of, that I was at work and I was feeling like crap, all of that was going on in the background of my head, right? So I finish my shift, I get home, it's raining, and I'm like, dang, today was dog shit. Sit in my car for like half an hour in total. But besides that, I was just listening to ambient sounds, music, whatever. Ambient sounds and ambient sounds. Ambience sounds, I don't know, you know what I mean, like lo-fi stuff, right? And the rainy day, it was very vibey. I can show you like a little video if I still have it, assuming that I still have that video and I didn't also delete it. Then as I was chilling in my car watching the rain and listening to the sounds of ambiance, I turned to the left and I'm just checking out my backyard because my house, my childhood home, it's only about, like, the entire property, maybe around, actually I wouldn't even be able to tell you how many square feet, but it's a 2-bed, 2-bathroom house. It's a pretty small house, but the backyard is pretty freaking big. You could totally make another small house in the backyard. That's how big it is. But anyway, I was looking at the backyard just in my car, watching the rain, listening to the sounds, and then I start thinking about reminiscing about the times where I had little cares in the world. When I was a kid playing in the backyard with my little brother, and we would play sports for hours every single day. And at that moment I snapped. At that moment I finally snapped. And it's like, why would I snap at that? If I'm honest with you, I'm not sure myself why to this day, why I did it, but I broke. That was a part of it, but along with the other things that I listed that were running in the background of my head, I snapped. I started having trouble breathing, literally describing a panic attack. I've never had, actually no, that's cap. I've had a pretty traumatizing life. I've had this before, but it's not often that I have them like that, to that extent. Like I couldn't breathe for like a good 15 minutes. And I was crying, I was bawling, buddy. Tears wouldn't stop coming out of my eyes. I was having trouble breathing, but it gets crazier. I low-key scared myself too because I started laughing like if I were Light Yagami about to write L's name on the notebook. Like I was going crazy. Like I felt like I was going crazy. I couldn't breathe. I was crying. I was laughing hysterically, all simultaneously. And I was like, dang, I don't know what's happening with me, but I'm just gonna, let it do its thing. And I stayed like that for like 15, 20 minutes. I crashed out. I was like, dang. I feel terrible. And thinking back to that moment, I remember the pain and I'm like, dang, that sucks because today, because of the lack of sun as well, and because the similar things that I named just now are still running in the back of my head. It's just at that day, I happened to snap on that day, on that rainy, sunless day. So today's similar to that last weekend, which is when I had made the original part 2 of Parking Lot Reflections. And now I'm making it again, but with similar feelings and similar day. I used to think that I wasn't the yapping kind, that I was super introverted, but what I realized is I'm an ambivert. Is that the term? I don't know. but basically a hybrid of introvert and extrovert. If I have the right conditions, if I have the right people around me, I could yap. I could yap like that old person that you can't get rid of at the store when you're just trying to look for a freaking underwear. Like, I just yap. But if I don't really freak with you, I don't talk to you at all. I may get off the impression that I'm a jerk, which is funny that I said that because actually last summer there was a guy that worked at the company where I'm working right now, temporarily at the nursery, and he was only there for like 6 to 8 months. But anyway, we started talking here and there. We got to work together here and there, and then he was like, you know what, dude, I freak with you. You're super cool. But not gonna lie, at first I looked at you and I thought you were an asshole. I was like, I don't hear that often actually. That was probably, I can count in one hand how many times I've heard that in my life. But I mean, I'm just selective like that. I can read people pretty easily. I can read the energy pretty easily. And if I'm not with it, I'm gonna approach with extreme caution, like if I were driving in the rain. Like, I'm not messing around. But there's some people that right away you just know, you just click right away without you even freaking trying. He was lucky one of those guys. Super cool. He's back in Mexico. He was with us for a bit. He's just coming here to work to make some dollars, to turn them into pesos, because you know the dollar is worth quite a bit. Cool guy. But what was I going with this? I'm not even sure. See what I mean? I get sidetracked like that, just like that. But yeah, a lot of what I just said about why I crashed out the last weekend is kind of how I'm feeling today as well. Wanting to find connection platonically, romantically, figuring your stuff out financially, because in this economy, ooh. I think Fridays or the weekends have become reflection times for real. Oh, I do want to talk about something else too. I was like, I feel like there's something more that I could say, have to say, that I said in the last video that I didn't say in the last video, because I want to recreate it as similar as possible as to the first time I recorded the part 2 of the reflection, because my very careless self forgot to save it to the computer. Let's see. So the medication, in the part 1 I talked about how I recently got off the medication. It is now week 3. Oh, let's go. I haven't killed myself. It's week 3 without the medication. Honestly, I haven't been doing too terribly, at least compared to before. Literally last year around this time I went cold turkey, and not because I wanted to that time. This time I did it because, you know, I cannot talk. See what I mean? When I have a lot going on, I don't want to say it really fast. I start stuttering. I start sputtering like an engine. Anyway, where was I going? Right, antidepressants. Last year around this time, I went cold turkey, not out of intention, but more so because I was insanely broke. God dang, about to see God or something? Jesus Christ, that was bright. Freaking frick-ass taillights. So a lot of modern vehicles, when you reverse, they have like these bright freaking white lights. That's like, God dang, dude. Why are they legal? Why are LED lights legal, bro? Are we for real about making me crash over some stupid lights? I'm trying to get into my stings. Nah, but for real, who made LED headlights legal? Why did we have to change them from yellow to white? Couldn't we have made LED lights that are yellow? Do they have to be white? I generally don't know. But they could have totally made them yellow. If they're talking about efficiency and lasting longer, you could have made yellow LEDs. It's the big 25. What are we doing? Jesus. Keep getting sidetracked. I don't know. Anyway, antidepressants. Haven't killed myself yet. That's great news. Definitely still some irritability. Some days I wake up irritable, and it's usually the mornings. As soon as the sun starts kicking in, I start getting my natural vitamin D. I'm like, great, starting to feel a little better. But a little irritability. Sometimes there's the wave of like, it'd be better if I weren't here. But luckily it hasn't hit as hard or as frequently, which is great, because what I was trying to say earlier a few moments ago, last year around this time when I went cold turkey because of money issues, because living healthy is expensive for some stupid sick reason. Well, not some reason. I can think of one really big reason why. And it's probably because business. Why would a business care if you're healthy and eating well and living well if it's not making that money? That's a whole different tangent for a whole other different time. But anyway, when I went cold turkey last year, not only did I do it mainly because of money, but I wanted to see what it was like. It was a terrible time. I wanted to kill myself. It was awful. And look, the misconception about antidepressants is, oh, but if you're taking antidepressants, why aren't you happy? You're not supposed to be happy. It's supposed to make you feel more regulated, more grounded, less I want to die, more neutral, and hopefully more chances of being happy. With the antidepressants, you're essentially balancing those chemicals in the brain that make you feel like wanting to kill yourself, that are making your brain telling you, hey, I want to kill myself, this ain't it. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. Wow, story time with me is so much fun, huh? Anyway, so last year when I did that, wasn't intentional. This year it is, and I'm handling a lot better is what I'm trying to say, which I'm glad. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of myself. I've learned so much wisdom within the last year. I've learned all these different techniques of regulating and grounding myself in times of distress, and in times where the wave of I don't want to be here is heavy. You know, back in high school, let me tell you, and here's another thing that I added in the last attempt of part 2. This is where I was going with this. I can see why that video ended up being 25 minutes. This video may end up being around the same amount of time. Let's go. And this will be the last what the frick do you call it, bro? I don't even know. The last topic for the video. Just because, again, I wanted to recreate it as similarly as possible as the last attempt. And honestly, it may just be very similar or the same. Yay. Anyway, when I found out that I didn't save it, I was sad. I was like, no, I put my pain into this video. Back in high school, let me tell you, it was a terrible time. Not only was I undiagnosed, but no medication, no parent support, nothing. I was pretty much on my own. Every single day, every single night, especially during winter. And I actually fact checked this. Science says during winter time, you actually feel even more depressed. So would you look at that? Cold weather, no sun, even more depressed. Ain't that great? It's terrible. It is awful. It is awful. Anyway, high school, wake up depressed, go to sleep depressed, not a moment where I'm happy. And if so, probably last a few seconds. And even if it is like longer than seconds, my brain is like, oh, happiness isn't safe. We must be depressed, or not depressed, but on guard, and therefore not accept the joy as it is. So it feels like you're never happy. It feels like you're never happy. You always just want to disappear. In high school, oh, this connects to the ambivert thing. Ambivert thing? The hybrid of introvert and extrovert. This connects to it. Okay? In high school, big lone wolf. I don't know how surprising that is. Surprising, great. Surprising, not great. I don't care. Anyway, I was a lone wolf, and not because I loved being on my own. No, it doesn't matter how introverted you are, because I am pretty introverted. You need to talk to people. You need somebody. Everybody needs somebody. It doesn't matter how introverted you are. You need somebody, because we're human. We're not trees. And I'm sure even trees have their own way of communicating, or other critters. I don't know, dude. The point is, we're not machines. We're people. And being people means having people needs. Communicating, having sexy time, eating, sleeping, movement of the body, having community. Super, super, super important, but I feel like it's greatly underestimated. I feel like in my culture, in Western culture, individualism is a big thing, and it's not a bad thing. But to the point where everybody's like, I can't ask for help even though I'm crashing. I'd rather do everything on my own. No friends, yada, 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 yada. You know what I'm trying to say. It's like independence, individualism isn't a bad thing. But I feel like there's just way too much focus on that. There's too much hyper-independence. Is that the correct term? I don't know. But there's too much of that. Too much people on that lone wolf mentality. Too people on the I don't need anybody mentality. No, dude. No. If you do think like that, oh, you're that lone wolf, you're that guy, you're definitely not happy. You're not happy. I can almost guarantee you. You're not happy. You're not happy at all. And worst part is, you probably don't even realize that yet, which is the craziest part. But that just goes to show how things are. Anyway, where was I going with this? So, oh yeah, high school. high school, because, and the depression thing wasn't just a high school thing, it was like an entire life thing. For as long as that I've had consciousness, I felt this way. Boy, it was a long life. I was always on my own, and not because I was like, I always want to be on my own, but because I was just trying to survive, feeling terrible all the time, literally just trying to survive. My brain all the time, be better if I weren't here, be better if I'm not here. I wake up that way, I go to sleep that way, always that way, always that way. And sometimes I look back on that to high school or middle school or even elementary school, because again, since I've had consciousness, I've always been isolated. I've always isolated by choice because I just been focusing on surviving. If it weren't for that, I probably would have made some dang good friends. So in high school, without that support, I was like that even more. Where was I going with this? I don't even know. I'm kind of out of it. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm out of it. I'm having trouble staying grounded and trying to articulate my words, my thoughts, because I'm currently feeling not good. Like how I felt that last weekend. Thankfully not to that extreme where I'm about to crash out. I may just need a little more until I crash out again, because crying is healthy, it's normal. I think I'm good. I'm gonna be good, I swear. This YouTube thing really has been a huge anchor in my life, believe it or not. So when I say I am very thankful that you're here, that you're watching, any second, any millisecond, any peep, I don't care. Like, I appreciate it all the same, because you're supporting, first of all, and second of all, I feel like I am doing something with my life. If it weren't for YouTube, and it's probably something you've heard before, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know what I'd be doing. I don't know how I'd be doing. But I guess what I'm trying to say, back to the antidepressant stuff, is without that medication, without the healing journey, it was a rough life up until recently. Probably the last 3-4 years of my life. Keep in mind, I'm 23 right now. Only the last 3 or 4 years of my life have been the only years of my life where I've had anything anywhere remotely close to pure happiness, to true happiness, to living life as it comes. The thing with the healing journey is you're never going to escape the negative emotions. The thing with the healing journey is you're supposed to learn how to manage yourself better, become more resilient. Resilience as in coming back from the stressors of the life, you know? There's gonna come a time where you're gonna be doing terribly, but it's your job to be able to bounce back from that. And when you heal, you enhance the rate at which you do that, meaning you are able to come back from things faster, you're able to ground yourself easier. That's what the healing journey is about. And I often say, there's no end to the healing journey, because life just doesn't end when you heal. Life keeps going, and when life keeps going, things are bound to happen. And when things are bound to happen, you're either happy or you're not happy. But again, it's up to you to learn to manage that and to bounce back from it. And well, not being on antidepressants for 3 weeks has been tricky. It was nowhere near as bad as how it was last year around this time. When I went to Japan last year, dang, it's about to be a whole year. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in one of the recent videos, but it's just crazy to me. Like, literally next month would mark 1 year since I went to Japan. Like, I was just there, bro. That's crazy. But anyway, I was on my met. I can't tell. I was on my medication, and Tokyo already kind of gave me a feeling of like, yo, everybody seems to be in their own thing all the time. Like, it feels awfully lonely out here, not very lively compared to the places of Osaka. But don't get me wrong, I actually haven't been to Osaka yet, but that's just what I hear generally. Osaka is very lively, warming, welcoming. They're the funny ones of Japan, is what they say. But anyway, where I was going with the Tokyo thing, it felt isolating, it felt lonely, and add my lack of medication to the equation, I felt worse. Although Japan in general, the experience, it was fun, yummy foods, pretty places. Like every other country I'm sure in the world has their beautiful spots, their amazing food. By the way, Japan glaze needs to be studied. I love Japan. I love anime. I love the music. I love the language. But the glaze is insane. Japan ain't all that, little bro. Y'all need to relax. But anyway, and it was quite the experience. I had told myself that I wanted to vlog, but when I got over there, I was like, nah. I don't want it to be like, I'm in Japan and I'm thinking of content. Like, what should I record? Oh, bro. I wanted to enjoy it. So I did as best as I could, and I don't regret it. Going to Japan gave me some clarity because I thought about living there at some point. But when I saw the reality, such as the work culture, I was like, yeah, heck nah. Dame this. I'm out. I'm not doing all of that. Oh, bro. A lot of people aren't happy over there for a reason. And I'm sure a big part of it, based off of what I've read, is due to the long and excruciating hours and underpaid hours at the companies. I'm trying to do all of that. Yeah, you can have your own business, but like, low-key a business is... No, not low-key. Business is a lot of work. I've seen how businesses run. I've seen what you gotta do for business stuff. I'm a manager at where I work. Businesses are tough. Yeah, you get more money, but they're tough. They're tough. It's like you're chained to your job for like forever. Yeah, you can hire somebody, but then there's the worry of they're not gonna do as adequate or efficient job as maybe yourself. But maybe that's just my old wiring of F it, I gotta do it all myself, because that's how I grew up. Man, the way I grew up was so not it. But anyway, trauma dump for another time. Some more trauma dump for another time. I think I'm going to wrap it up here because I have now gone for what, 32 minutes. 32 minutes. Dang, I'm cute. Thank you for listening to another parking lot reflection number 2. It was nice. It was fun. I feel a tad bit lighter. The freak, did I tell you to turn off? Thank you for joining me in another parking lot reflection. It's been fun. I feel lighter. And while I do feel lighter, honestly, I still feel this emptiness in my chest right now that I'm going to reflect somewhere on my own time and see what's going on today, this evening. Today wasn't a terrible day. It was a chill day, honestly, at work. I thought it was going to be a lot of clients running in. Thankfully not. I got a freaking break. Dude, let me tell you. I can't tell you how many times I get a customer that comes in. They're like, I'm looking for plants. I'm like, oh, great. So what kind of plants are you looking for? Oh, I don't know. Oh, we did it. How you about to come in and not know what you're looking for? It's like going to a dealer. It's like going to the Walmart and not knowing what you're gonna buy. What do you mean you don't know? Or maybe those are very different comparisons. But still, you can do your research, bro. Everybody has a phone nowadays. All these old people walking around with iPhones, bro. It's not that hard. It's literally a willing to learn. I don't care what anybody says. I can have patience. I can teach them or whatever. That's not the problem. The problem is they don't even try. Oh, I don't know how. You don't even get to know how. That's the problem. Anyway, where the frick was I going with this? See what I mean? How many times did I say that? Somebody count that. No, I'm probably gonna count. No, actually, if you want, I'm not gonna make someone do that. But if someone wants, let me know how many times I said that. I was supposed to wrap up the video, and somehow I ended up on a tangent of freaking old people walking in. I want plants. I don't know what plants, and I'm like, dude, are we dead serious? You know what? Go take a lap around the whole property. 26 acres, by the way. Not sure how to convert that into units where you'd understand, but 26 acres is a lot of land with plants. Yeah, so today was a chill day. It wasn't a bad day per se, but what came up last weekend that essentially made me snap is what's coming up this weekend. I mean, it's not really the weekend yet. It's Friday night. It's the 21st of November, 5 p.m. But the similar feelings are resurfacing right now, and sensations in my body, like the heaviness in my chest. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna like stop talking. I need to eat. I'm tired. I'm annoyed. And I actually still need to upload one more video for this week for the Visual Malva channel. I'm actually going to upload this day, the 21st. I'm going to be uploading Atori part 5. So stay tuned. And again, thank you for listening, for being here. It really means the world to me. You have given me purpose. Yeah. Anyway, catch y'all later.